Permaculture. I'm Jenny Wood, and it's a chilly, blustery, drizzly spring day here in Central California. But we're actually really grateful that it's still cool and it's not quite summer yet. I wanted to come to you today with an update on Woodland and how the food forest is going so far this year. And I'm actually really excited about it because I think this year will be the most productive that Woodland's food forest has ever been. And so I'm looking forward to showing you guys some of the highlights. So I'm going to turn the camera around and go around the garden and show you a little bit about what's happening. Here's just an overview of the front yard at Woodland. So a quick update on the banana tree, which I believe I planted maybe 2.5 years ago or so. It actually grew a flower, as I'll zoom in and show you, in the fall. Unfortunately, because it was fall, it got cold and wet after that, and the little bananas have not ripened. And I don't know that at this point they're going to ripen or get any bigger. So unfortunately, I think from what I've heard, this particular banana will not flower again. And so I won't get any bananas from it. But the good news is if we move down to the bottom, there are 2 banana pups are there and there. And so I'm going to probably leave one of them here and take another one and transplant it to another spot. So then I will have 2 banana trees, and eventually hopefully one of them will give me some bananas. And I hope to keep propagating them like that so that I can keep growing more and more bananas. Here's the almond tree. And I'm really excited about it because it's got a lot of almonds growing on it, and they're starting to get bigger, and I love that. Now last year I had a problem with them. They started oozing this clear goo, and so I looked it up and it might be pests. So I have been spraying these this year with insecticidal soap, hoping that will help. And over next to the almond tree, I have a lot of sunflowers already growing. This great big one started growing last fall and actually wintered over and is now blooming. That's super fun. And then I have lots of small seedlings down on the ground that I've already planted. Planted those by seed, so I'm really excited that those are growing. The chickens love sunflower seeds, so I think I'll have a good use for them this year. But I'm excited to see how beautiful this will look in a few months. So I have 2 different kinds of currants in the food forest. I'm not sure what the varieties are. This one had some gorgeous pink flowers like in January and February. But of course there's no bees around then, so none of them have gotten fertilized. There's still a few flowers on there, so you never know, there might come some flowers there. But I'm not really hopeful. But here, let me show you the other currant. This currant had some lovely yellow flowers that came in later. And as you can see, if I zoom in here, they are definitely fertilized and getting lots of currants. So this one is going to be really productive this year, and I'm really excited about it. I'm betting the chickens are going to love these and are going to nibble these off before I can ever get to them. This area of the food forest in the front yard is more of a native area. I've got a lot of native plants that I've planted here, including this beautiful sticky monkey flower and a manzanita little tree right there I planted a couple years ago. This right here is my favorite grass. It's a blue-eyed grass and has these gorgeous purple flowers in the spring. It also made a few of them in the fall last year too, so I was very happy about that. I've got some other natives, like a native rose, California rose there, and some sunflowers and different things. Of course, California poppies. So this area is a lot, mostly just things that will grow here underneath this big tree. I knew I couldn't put a whole lot of good food stuff down here, but these natives are doing well. And then over here, there's a pineapple sage. That's not a native, but I've got my garlic down here. This is my line of garlic, and a little lemon tree, and this is my herb garden over here. So over there I've got some lemon thyme, I've got some garlic chives and some chamomile, all of which are still pretty small. I have a hard time getting those to grow a lot. So I also wanted to give a brief update on the Jacaranda tree, which seems to be really popular on the Woodland Permaculture YouTube channel. So I promised people that I would give them an update. And as you can see, it's gotten a lot bigger and it's growing really well. It grew a lot last summer, and a lot of the branches are now going in the right direction. If you have been paying attention to the channel, a couple years ago, all of the branches were over on this side. And so I had to prune some to encourage some growth and to stop it from growing on this side. And then I also am training some of the branches to go in that direction. So, but let me close in a little bit for you and show you some close-ups. So I just wanted to zoom in and show you the new growth that's already happening this year. At the end of all of the branches, these new leaves are coming out. And this is where also some flower buds will start to grow in May, and that will bloom around late May and during June. And that, of course, is my favorite part of the Jacaranda life cycle, because that is when beautiful purple flowers come, and then when they are spent, they make a gorgeous blanket of purple on the ground. So yes, the Jacaranda is doing really well. So this is a nice wide view of the front of Woodland, and I just wanted to give you a quick tour. This section over here to the left of the garage is where there used to be a driveway when we first moved in, and we removed all the concrete so that I could continue planting trees to make my food forest. And there's, of course, the Jacaranda. I also have a fig tree right in the middle back here, right around there. I don't know if you can see it. I have a couple of elderberries, which are like right here and right there. This is some sugar cane right here. I have some canna down in this area. And of course, the Grape Arch. I'll try and zoom in and show you the Grape Arch as well. And then over here is the main front yard. Chickens are chickening. This is the large fruitless mulberry, which I still wished would make real mulberries. I've tried to graft some things onto it, and so far no luck. And I've just got, this is where my natives are. This is also where I have my sage and all kinds of different things. Not as much food in this section, but I do have lots of beautiful flowers and nitrogen fixers and native plants. These right here are definitely edible. These are peas of different kinds, but I mainly just have them planted as nitrogen fixers. And we don't usually eat the peas. Oh look, there's one little pea right there. Right there. Isn't that nice? I'm hoping that I can get some of those peas and use them in my meals at some point. And of course the artichokes, which I have a goal of eating one artichoke sometime this year. Here are those currant plants I showed you right there. And my beautiful blanket of lamb's ears, which I love. If there's ever a shortage on toilet paper in the stores again, I'll be taken care of. I'll be set. And then, of course, the crown jewel of Woodland is the pond. Love my pond with my fish. I think we have about 9 or 12 fish, something like that, down in there. And the plants, which right now don't look great, but later on this year are going to completely cover this pond and look beautiful. The grass is growing over there, the pond grass, and the elephant ears are doing great, and the waterfall. And then over here is just some rosemary. The rosemary, of course, is so easy to grow. It just, boom, makes a lot of rosemary. So I love that. So this is the front, and I'll do a quick tour in the back as well. Oh, over there you might be able to see those tomato towers. I just planted some little tomato seedlings there, and I'm hoping those will grow. There's Alex in the background. And I'll zoom in and show you my 2 little greenhouses. But before we go over to the little greenhouses, I forgot to mention my berries all along the road here, all along the sidewalk. The first 2 I have are blueberries. I used to have a third, but it died, and these 2 are still really small. And maybe my soil isn't quite acidic enough or something, but they just don't seem to grow very well. And then down here I've got some raspberries. This is a new raspberry that I just put in like last year. Most of the stuff on the top has kind of died back, but it's growing from the bottom. So hopefully that one will get better. And these are better, yummy red ones, which I like better than the other raspberries I've had, which are these. And here's some of my sunflowers growing. These are really nice. They have pretty pink flowers, but the raspberries turn out to be black. I think they're black cap raspberries, and they're not very tasty. They're very seedy, not a lot of juice, that sort of thing. Under this mass of weeds right here is my blackberry bush. Here's one stem that's growing up to here that I put up here so that I could reach it. I really do need to weed over here now. And then I have one more raspberry over there. And then across the way, underneath the jacaranda tree, I forgot to mention I have my goji berries and another blackberry. So this is my berry patch all along the sidewalk. And I put it there so that when they're nice and mature and have lots of berries, people who walk along are welcome to share them. On the way to the greenhouses, this is where the sunflowers are, right here, along with a lot more nitrogen fixers. This right here is some sort of mallow. It's a volunteer. These come back every year, but then they die out in the summertime. My scented geranium, which helps keep away mosquitoes. This is my little area where I put my guinea pigs. I have to get those out sometime and show you. My little guinea pigs go there. Here are a couple of really small little greenhouse boxes that I had made. I got these old windows from a neighbor. I purchased them, and then I had my handyman build a box and with some hinges to put the windows on. And this is where I've been trying to grow my seedlings this year. Still with not a lot of luck, but I have gotten tomatoes, and now I have some basil and some holy basil that seems to be growing, and some watermelons which are growing. So hopefully I'll have at least something this year. And then the other one is right here. This one has even less in it. But I'm still not good with seeds, and that's what I feel like I need to really get good at. So I keep practicing. And this is just another view of the front of Woodland. And that's Tiasa. Hi, Tiasa. Meow. Meow. Here we are at the Grape Arch. Last year, the grapes extended all the way up and over this arch, and I fully expect them to do the same thing this year. I have 4 grape plants. 2 of them, which I planted first on this side, are already halfway up, and I love that. These things grow fast. And I can't remember what kind they are. One's a red, one's a black, one's a green. I can't remember which is which right now. But if you look in, let me see if I can find one. If you look closely in there, oh, there's one right there. Let's see if I can get it. There we go, right there. Boop. That is a little cluster that's going to become grapes. And both of these grape plants on this side have little grapes starting on them. Now on this side are a couple of grape plants that are smaller because they're a little younger, little newer, and they are still growing pretty well this year. I don't expect to get any grapes off of either of these this year. But this one right here, this one's the one I'm the most looking forward to. I got this one as a cutting from a friend in the California Rare Fruit Growers group, and it is a grape whose name I can't remember right now. But it's the best tasting grape. It's one of those that tastes like cotton candy. So delicious. And so I'm super looking forward to these grapes one day producing really well. All right, here's just a quick tour of the backyard, how it looks now. If I can, I'll try and post a picture of what it looked like 4 years ago. Pretty barren, except for the one tree over there, the apple tree. But here we go. Here's my stone fruit tree over here on the left. They are doing great. Let's zoom in and I'll show you some of the fruits that are on there. I've got my, like I told you before, my garden in the middle here, and my lime tree against the heart-shaped headboard back there. It's starting to get some flowers, so I'm excited about that. The grapefruit tree, of course. And then back here is our fire pit. I need to build some more fires, and I definitely need to learn to make charcoal in my fire pit. That's one of my goals. And then of course here's the chicken run and the chicken coop. And then over here my artichoke and pomegranate, just kind of going around so you can get a feel of how the whole place is, but I'll zoom in and show you some different things. And then here's my other side yard where my compost is, and some firewood down there at the end. And this is kind of the space that I don't keep as nice and neat, and I'm fine with that. Okay, let's see what else I have and that I can show you. Here's the stone fruit trio. They are all doing really well. I think that this year in the entire garden, but mostly here on these 3 trees, I'm going to have the most production that I've had yet, and I'm very happy about that. Last year I hardly had any fruit, and I think it was because there weren't very many bees. But this year I made sure to plant a bunch of different flowers early on, even through the winter, so that they would be grown and ready, and then there were bees this year. So I'm very excited about that. Let's zoom in a little bit and see what's on these trees. I'm so excited to have some pluots growing. And these are actually growing on a branch that I grafted this just last year. And they are flavor queens. I'm probably going to be picking off a few of these because such a young branch should not be heavy laden with so many of these little pluots. And here are some brand new peaches growing. The flowers are fading, but that means it's time for the peaches to start growing. I'm excited to see that some of the grafts that I've done are growing. These are grafts I just did this year, and this shows that they are taking. I'm very excited about that. I've done quite a number of new varieties. And here is the Santa Rosa plum tree. It is already getting a lot of little plums growing on it. So I'm really excited about that. You can see plums all along there. And then over here, this is a yellow plum branch that I grafted last year, and it's getting some plums on it too. But again, I'll probably pick a few of them so it doesn't make too many. But yeah, it's real exciting to see these little plums grow and to get bigger, and there's a lot of them. Santa Roses tend to grow a lot. And here's a couple of grafts that I grafted this year that are also growing and thriving, so I'm excited. This one, the one on the bottom on the right, that one hasn't started growing yet, but I haven't given up hope on it. It might still grow. This is a new black Tartarian cherry tree that I planted just last year. I've had no luck with cherry trees in this spot. I've tried at least 2 or 3 multi-grafted cherries, and they just die after several months. So I'm trying a single variety, but doing a few grafts of my own, as you can see. We'll see how this one goes. This is my key lime tree that I'm espaliering on this repurposed headboard. And as I zoom in, you can just see a few flower buds down there. So this area along the side of the pool, I have some plants that I'm excited that I actually did myself. Those are some beautiful sage shrubs that I planted from seed like 2 or 3 years ago and put them over here, and they have really thrived and they are now starting to bloom. And then these sweet asylums over here, I transplanted those from the front yard a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago at least, and they grew, were beautiful, died back, and now they're growing back again. They keep like reseeding themselves and popping up in different places. There's some more over there. So technically these I did not plant myself, but they have been replanted from what I planted before. There's a tiny little lavender plant here that I just planted, and a little thyme plant right there. I just planted those recently within the last few months. And I have another lavender and another thyme on the other side of these sage and creeping rosemary bushes. So I'm hoping to have a few more herbs back here. This area here that I've surrounded with chicken wire is the garden area in the back, and I've cordoned it off, one, to keep the chickens out of it because the chickens will eat everything and scratch everything up, and 2, so that I can target where the water is really going to go to get some good growth in here. I planted a bunch of seeds right in this area a few weeks ago, and nothing is coming up. I'm very disappointed about that. I'm going to have to try again. But I do have a few little tomatoes down there that I transplanted yesterday, some beefsteak, and some red and yellow pear blend. So that's cool. I got a bunch of borage and marigolds. These marigolds are awesome. Some of them are really cool. I don't know if you've seen this kind before, but this one's only a small example. Here's one. This one right here, it had one main flower, and then when that flower died, it grew like, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 little flowers coming out of the top. I called it a firework. It looked like a firework. If any of you know what variety of marigold that is, please let me know, but I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know if any of these, this one is look at this one right here, has some new little ones starting to grow out of it, so it's going to do the same thing. I think that's just so cool. I've never seen that before. A lot of them have already been spent and are making some seeds that I need to save, but a lot of them are still gorgeous and attracting some bees, but warding off some of the bad pests. So that's why I like the marigolds. And they're such a bright, beautiful color, and they go well with the purple borage. So pretty. Over here is my narrow leaf milkweed. Wouldn't it be cool if I got more little caterpillars on there this year for monarchs? That would be awesome. Oh, and I missed the grapefruit tree. So excited about how many flowers are on this grapefruit tree. I've never seen so many flowers on it. This is so exciting. There is no way I can let it make all of those into grapefruits. So we'll see how many grapefruits it actually starts, but I'm gonna have to thin those out quite a lot. Oh, and there's a little bee. Where'd the bee go? He's zooming around so fast I can't get him. There he is. Do you see him? But yeah, I'm really excited. We've got a few bees here to fertilize these grapefruit flowers because I want at least a few. This is my husband's favorite. He really wants grapefruit. And then down here is the other end where I've got some brassicas planted. I think I planted these from seeds like last spring. They wintered over and are finally, looking like they're doing something. Everything grows so slowly in my yard. These are Brussels sprouts, and it looks like they're trying to make little Brussels sprouts in the cracks there, but not much is happening. Then I've got some chard and garlic alternating along here. This is a broccoli, which there's another broccoli over here. I've let this broccoli go to seed. I think my guinea pigs are going to like those little seed pots, so I'm going to give those to them. Maybe save some to try and plant some more broccoli. But this broccoli didn't make a lot of nice big bunches, and so I haven't been really motivated to cut them off. I did eat some of it though. And then down there's a little chard, some more chard and some garlic. So nice. Over here I planted a bunch of wildflowers. I don't know what these kind of flowers are, but I love those little red ones. There's definitely some California poppies, and all of these are peas, different kinds of sweet peas that are great for nitrogen fixing and might actually make peas that we can eat or the guinea pigs or somebody can eat. So that's exciting. And then just down here are just some volunteers. Here's another chard. These I think are more California poppies, and some oxalis. That is definitely volunteers that the chickens like to eat sometimes, and technically it's edible, has a nice little lemony flavor. And then some morning glories growing along the back there, and some more peas. So yeah, I'm really happy with this area, and I'm going to keep doing this. And every once in a while I let the chickens go in there and scratch around, do a little pooping, a little fertilizing. But for the most part, especially right now when I'm supposedly got some seeds in there, I'm not letting them in there right now. So right in between my garden area and the fire pit is my male pistachio tree. I'll show you the female in a second. But this one, this is the first year that I've seen it start to get actual flower buds on it, which I'm excited about, except that when we go over here to see the female pistachio, which is way back here in the corner, it has not yet started to bud out at all. There's only a couple of places, like right there, so I can focus it, right there and right up here where it is starting to leaf out. And so I'm concerned, of course, that the male and the female are not ever going to blossom at the right time together so that the male can fertilize the female. That's my concern. We'll see how that goes in the next few years. Right next to the chicken run, I have my Stella cherry tree. And it seems to be doing really well this year too. It has gotten a lot of flowers, even ones down here towards the bottom, which I'm not happy about. Once they give me cherries, if they do, I'm gonna prune those off because I don't want it to be a shrub, I want it to be a tree. So it's looking really well. Even some of the grafts have flowers. So I have some early purple something, which a word that I can't pronounce, and other grafts that I have on there are also doing really well and making flowers. So I'm excited about that tree too. Right next to my compost area is my 3-in-1 pear tree. And it right now seems to be doing pretty well. This one has been struggling every year. It really has a hard time with the heat, which is why I have this little stake next to it. Once the heat starts up, I'm going to put an umbrella over it to keep it from getting too hot. And I also want to make sure I water it a lot. This one branch over here on the left did have some flowers on it, but I don't think they got fertilized or something, because there are no little pears starting. And the other branches only have leaves. So no pears this year. I only had a couple last year, and they did not even ripen because of the struggles it was in. So I am just going to let this guy go, not worry about it not making pears this year. It needs to really dig its roots down deep so that it can, you know, survive the heat a little bit more. So I'm going to just protect it this year. Miss Moran's is a little upset because, well, I call it feeling eggy. She's got an egg in there that wants to come out, but she's not really wanting to go be in the box just yet. And this is my compost area, and they are always working on my compost. I've changed it up since the last time you saw my compost area. I did try a composting chicken system that started on this end and then worked its way that way. But I never had enough food scraps and other things to really make it work well. And so now I just have one single compost pile that the girls come along and they'll kick it apart, and then I pile it back up again and they kick it apart. And so they help me mix my compost for me. And they also, of course, still poop in the area and add nutrients to it. And so for me right now, that's working really well. In fact, today I just flipped my compost. It was over here in this area. I flipped it over to here, and in between I used my sifter to sift out some compost. And I got about, probably 10 to 20 gallons of good mixed up sifted compost that I put in my garden, including down here, where I think now I'm going to plant some new plants, and I have to figure out what's going to go there. I'm sprouting some grass seeds and some other seeds, and I'm hoping that maybe those will grow over here, along with maybe some chard and some other greens that will grow in the shade, because this is definitely a shady area, even in the summertime. But the girls love the compost area, and several times a day they come over here to pick through the compost, look for worms and bugs and whatever else they can find over here. Thanks, ladies. Oh, now she's eating a sunflower. That's a sunflower plant that I did not plant there, so she can eat that. That's marigold and buttercups on the right. And here's the chicken run that you guys saw me build last year, as a matter of fact. And the apple tree growing in the middle of it is just started to bloom and to leaf out. And pretty soon it's going to have little tiny apples on it and a lot of leaves, shading this great area for the chickens in the summertime. And let's see what's happening inside. Here's a dust bath I made for them, which they're not really using. Their water and their food is over here right now, underneath the roof that I put on, just in case it rains again. And this is the inside of their run, which is right now deeply mulched, but I'm just about to take that mulch out in the next day or so to put on different parts of my garden. And what's going on inside here? Who's that? Who's that? Who's in her? Oh, it's Miss Moran's. Miss Moran's has come back to the coop and is in her box, and she's going to lay an egg. Hopefully she'll stay in here this time. Right, Miss Moran's? In this area, next to the chicken coop and the other little tiki bar, is a great artichoke that I thought had died back, but these suckers grow back. Oh, there's Miss Moran's. Hey, Miss Moran's, did you lay an egg this time? We'll have to go check. But look, already, it's what? It's just about to be April. It's still March, and there's already artichokes. I have made it a goal to eat at least one artichoke this year. I'm really bad about actually eating them. But I think that's really cool. My husband won't eat them, so it's just going to be me. And then next to it is a new pomegranate shrub that I planted last year that I'm really hoping will work here. I had a pomegranate that I transplanted from a friend's house, but it died, had too much shock. And so I'm hoping this one will work, because it'd be fun to have pomegranates over here. Well, there you have it, a nice tour and update on Woodland and how things are growing around here. I'm so excited about the beautiful things happening in the garden this year. So excited about the fruits that are coming in that we'll get to partake of soon. I'm grateful for all the beautiful animals that are in the garden with me and here at Woodland. They really nurture me as much as I'm able to nurture them. They really bring a lot to our family. My husband Andy absolutely loves the chickens. Hi, and this is Tiasa. Andy loves the chickens and he loves the cats, so they really are a great blessing to us here at Woodland. So I'm glad to be able to share that with you. I also wanted to let you know some of the things I'm doing in the community. So part of my goals in permaculture, kind of the other side of the coin for me, is to be out in the community to help the earth and to promote the permaculture principles. And I'm trying to do that in a few ways. One of them is working with a local nonprofit called Tracy Earth Project, and I help them plant trees and do cleanups and whatever else they might need. I'm also just recently have been appointed to the Tracy Environmental Sustainability Commission, and I just started that earlier this year. And I'm so excited about that work because already we've been able to do some really great things, and we're just about to dive into the Sustainability Action Plan. It was created back in like 2008 or 2010, but it hasn't been updated since, and we want to update it and also start to really encourage the city to fulfill the goals that are in that plan. So all of this is really just an extension of my faith as well. I have been so blessed, and I'm so very grateful for this beautiful earth that God has given to us, and that helps us and nurtures us and brings such beauty and health to us. It's just past Easter now, and spring and Easter reminds me of how beautiful this earth is that Heavenly Father has given to us, and I'm so grateful for it. And I'm grateful for you. I thank you all for joining me, and hope that this is still a great channel for you guys and that you're still learning from it. Please let me know if there's any topics or anything that you guys want me to cover, that you want me to show you more of in Woodland. Help me to make this channel the best it can be. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope everything is well with you and your family. Take care and God bless.